I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right, enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
What? Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong? Disconnect.
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Liar. Not intentionally. I am not in the studios of Living Bread in Canton, Ohio. I am down in the mothership here in Irondale, EWTN. No pictures of me anywhere. There's this nun. She's everywhere. Pictures of her everywhere. I tried to kind of take one of them, put mine over it, but every time I do, I come back, it's gone. And I suspect Tom Price, the man behind the plexiglass, my friend, my mentor, and my boss. Okay. But he's right here. Hi, Tom. You can talk. Can you?
Hey, buddy.
Hi. Good to have you. Are you call screaming here or no? Somebody's coming in?
No, I'm just going to stare at you.
Hope you ain't got cataracts, my friend.
Well, used to be, but now I have a Lincoln.
The old joke.
The classics. Because there's always new victims coming up on board.
It's like speakers will tell you it's easier to change your audience than it is to change your talk. It's a lot easier to do it that way.
Run off the old ones, bring in the new ones, right? Okay.
I've been down here doing some records, and I just got done. This is legit. We're doing some stuff for social media here for EWTN, and I had to produce some spots, 3 minutes kind of commentaries, little things, sort of similar to my morning monologues. We did 111 of them. So I am now pretty much out of every IQ point that I have. So if you call this program, it is likely I will say, so what? Take care of it yourself. I'm tired. Next. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call to get onto the program. As I have always said, now is David Andrews coming in the next hour here, Tom?
Yes.
I've said this multiple times. Going from my program to Call to Communion with David Andrews, who is one super bright, educated, erudite, pedagogical individual, is like going from Wheel of Fortune to Jeopardy in the evening on your TV. It's really kind of what it is. I sit here, I'd like to buy a bowel, at my age. So I got you on that one, didn't I? All right. 877-573-7825. Number to call to get onto the program. 877-57-EQUAL. Now, I did this last week, and I didn't handle it well. I gave out a text number. My cell sits next to me right here during the program. And you could text in with a question or a comment or an insult or a get off the air, whatever it was. And I hate when my wife texts me that. And I didn't get to the questions. We had a lot of questions on the air that day, and I didn't get to them. And I felt bad because they were legit questions. So I'm going to give it out again. If you would like to text a question or call, don't call. Don't call. I won't take the call. Text or make a comment. Please feel free. Now the number there is 330-903-8019. Now this is the kind of respect I get. Jack Williams, who's a big shot here in the radio programming, he just texted. How very nice of him. Have you always been this short? Now see, Tom, look at this. Somebody's calling, and I just said don't call because I'm not going to answer it. It's probably Jack, The number you you can use. Now, this is not the program number. I'll give you the program number in a second here. The text number, 330-903-8019. That's my text number. Now, the program number, because right now nobody's calling in, so that's okay with me because I have nothing left here. Somebody just text. Don't know what it is. It just says M. Program number is 877-573-7825. Not an easy number to remember, so it's 877-57-EQUAL. Question about something in your life, circumstance, people, something, rock, paper, scissors, whatever. Also, comment to help someone else who calls in. If you disagree with me, you're put straight to the front of the line, and I will refer you to David Anders next hour. Call him if you don't like it. If you have a question about the faith that you want a cheap answer, something that's not all that good, you call me. You really want a full, thoughtful, philosophical answer, you wait for about 50-some minutes here and call David. All right, enough of that badinage. Thank you, Tom. Sometimes I use, Tom, I have to tell you this, sometimes I use big words that I don't know the meaning of so I can sound more photosynthesis. Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I really get upset at people who think they're sophisticated, they act like they're cosmopolitan, and they can't even name one of Mozart's paintings. Not one. That's right. I'll tell you that right now. All right. The shrinks come up with a lot of terms that trickle into everyday language, the lexicon. And one of these terms is comfort zone. Comfort zone is something that the experts say you guide your life by. That's outside my comfort zone. I want to stay within my comfort zone. Why? Because in much of psychology, the self is all important. Christianity, the self is not all important. The self is behind God and others. But in psychology, comfort zone, if you just decide that I want to live totally by my preference, then I'm going to stay in my comfort zone. I don't want to do anything that would cause me any kind of discomfort, distress, discomportment, anything. Well, my Aunt Mary, she's in a nursing home. I really don't. I just feel so ill at ease in nursing homes. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the smell of the urine. I don't. And Aunt Mary, half the time she doesn't recognize me. She doesn't know. She's just kind of there in her room, and I mean it's a whole uncomfortable experience for me. It really is. It's way outside my comfort zone. It's 3 blocks down, so I just avoid it. As a Christian, it is not my comfort zone that determines what I do. It is my question to myself, is it good to do? It is good to visit Aunt Mary. When she was alive, she was just a wonderfully warm, delightful lady. Okay, so now she's pretty far into dementia. Maybe she doesn't know I'm there. And maybe her room does smell like urine. So? Well, I don't know. I don't. It gives you the heebie-jeebies. That used to be the old term for comfort zone. Look it up. A Christian is supposed to have a very, very broad comfort zone. Actually, come to think of it, for a Christian, the comfort zone should be decided by if it's wrong. If something is wrong, it is going to be beyond my comfort zone. If somebody wants me to go somewhere that is not a good place to go morally, then that is beyond my comfort zone, but it's also beyond my moral zone. But in most cases, people talk about comfort zone because it's personal. I don't really want to do that. I'm not inclined to do that. And so I don't. A Christian should either have no personal comfort zone like that, or, and here's the great thing about a comfort zone, as you stretch it, as you act outside of it, it gets bigger. The first time you visit Aunt Mary, yeah, you're ill at ease. Second time, you're not quite as ill at ease. And if you go see her a fifth time, it just doesn't bother you at all anymore. It's not outside your comfort zone. Why? Because your comfort zone expanded. It got bigger. Don't let a comfort zone determine whether you do something good or not. If it is good, your level of comfort doesn't matter. It may matter to a lot of shrinks, but Christ is our ultimate psychologist. And if he says go, he didn't qualify it by saying, unless it makes you uncomfortable, okay? Just I don't want you to be uncomfortable. All right. Now, two things have happened. All of a sudden, I just got a whole bunch of texts and a whole bunch of calls. This happens every time. All right, well, 9 already. Gee, I'm sorry, folks. If I don't get to all of you, I'll try to read some of these, but I don't want to ignore the folks on the line either. It's Dr. Ray. I'm not giving out the number. You should know it by now.
This program is brought to you by the following nonprofit underwriter.
Join Catholics at the Shore 2026, May 7th through the 9th at the beautiful Icona in Avalon, New Jersey. This year's theme, Needing Nothing More, invites you to step away from the noise and encounter Christ. Speakers include Patricia Heaton, UFC champion Bas Rutten, and pro-life activist Christian Hawkins, along with other powerful Catholic voices. To learn more, go to CatholicsAtTheShore.com.
Out on my usual night walk, I went straight down the middle of our dirt road, the only illumination coming from moonlight. Looking up at the treetops, silhouetted strongly against that same moonlight, I saw how unvarying their purpose is. Straight up, towards the heavens, every single one of them. "Listen, you trees," I told them, "why don't you assert yourselves, do your own thing, grow sideways, diagonally, tear yourselves up from the roots, and run off to L.A.? But no, only a human being would do that. Like the abortion-minded mom last week who told me, "It's all just too hard right now. I'm not going to count this baby." Are we the ones who make others real or not real? Are we the ones who give value or take it away? I think that would be like the tree turning itself upside down. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
This program is brought to you by the following nonprofit underwriter.
Are you longing to hear God's voice? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian prayer series will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking, and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord, Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
I'm going to do the show juggle and the text juggle. This one came in, it's interesting. It simply says, "Do you believe in Jesus Christ?" Now, my guess would be a text like that would be someone asking, because I'm a Catholic, do I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ as it would be defined by the evangelical world? Well, of course I believe in Jesus Christ. To use evangelical language, He is my Lord and Savior. I have asked Him into my heart. I've asked the Holy Spirit to guide me. Now, because I am Catholic, some people say, well, that negates a relationship with Jesus Christ because the Catholics have added way too much stuff to the simple Christian religion. Oh, contraire, mon frère. That's the only French I know. The Catholics have not only added things that will help my relationship with Jesus Christ, but most of those things have come from the very beginning of Christianity that have since been jettisoned by other Christian denominations and traditions. All right. Thanks. Did I text the right number for Dr. Ray Guarendi? Yes, you did. Okay. Brittany says she is making a conscious decision to walk with the Lord this week, this Holy Week. But she thinks because of that, things are getting a little rough. Brittany, what's happening?
Hi, Dr. Ray. I suppose this probably isn't revolutionary. It probably happens to people all the time. They decide that they want to walk a certain direction, and then all of a sudden, all these things keep popping up that seem to be pushing the other direction.
Like what? Give me an example there.
This must be trivial.
Britt, give me an example.
I moved back home recently to do what is maybe my third or fourth reset, in life. My birthday's later this week. I'm going to be 38. Okay. So, not exactly where I thought I would be in life at this point at an earlier time, but this last year has been a struggle, but thank God I have the parents that I do, and so things are moving along, and I'm just, with anticipation of Easter and dying and rising, and I felt this inspiration, like listening to reading or listening to the Fulfillment of All Desire by Ralph Martin is an amazing book, and I'm listening to Augustine, and he's saying, he goes back and forth, and I hear him say, "Let it be now. Let the moment be now." And I thought, let it be now. I don't want to be here at my parents' house a year from now, still waiting for the same thing. God knows that I'm done with all the other stuff. He systematically moved every single person that's ever meant anything besides family.
Britt, I'm going to have to jump in here now. We're getting into a lot of details that probably aren't relevant for you.
Sorry.
It sounds to me.
So I'm at my parents, and
well, that's not where you wanted to be. That's not where you wanted to be. You figure I'm 38 years old. I should be a little farther along in life than living with my parents. Okay, I got that part. But what you have, your decision to believe more conscientiously than you ever have, is a wonderful thing. It's an incredible gift. It's an infinite gift you've been given. So all this other scrap that happens along the way where you say, oh, gosh, it's a setback, another setback. Oh, come on, what is going on here? Just because you believe doesn't mean all that stuff's going to go right. And the other thing I'm hearing in your voice, your words, is it's not happening fast enough. Now, I want this. I'm embracing the Lord. Okay, when's my life going to start getting better? Well, it already is infinitely better, Brittany. Now, the rest of this stuff you're going to have to handle, and you're going to be able to handle it in the context of your faith now. Now you've got a backdrop. So whatever comes your way, whatever you've labeled spiritual attack may not be a spiritual attack. It may just be the stuff of life. And so, okay, it happens. What are your decisions? You're living with mom and dad. I don't want to be there a year from now. Okay. What kind of job are you going to try to get? What are you going to keep searching for? How are you going to do this? I think the worst thing you could do is to say, come on, God, I've given you my heart and my mind, and I'm not getting a whole lot in return here. That's the worst thing you can do. You don't want to do that. So, whatever is a roadblock, hurdles in the way of becoming deeper in your faith, well, you can get through those. It may take you a while. It may take you till you're 80. As long as you're heading in the right direction, that's what you want. Anything else to add to my pontificating?
I don't know. Advice for when I'm just starting to feel overwhelmed. Just like it's too much. Like
what's too much?
Like I'm feeling like attacked.
Wait, what's too much?
Everything feels like a lot now. Ever since I'm like, okay, I'm ready to shed this off.
Well, here's what you're doing to yourself.
Oh, I moved that, and that's a problem.
Brittany,
with everybody.
Here's what you're doing to yourself.
Okay.
Ever since I decided to embrace my faith more fully, everything seems a lot more overwhelming. That's what you're doing to yourself. Nothing is any more overwhelming. It seems more overwhelming because there must be something in your thinking that is saying, if I become more faithful, life is going to become easier. That's got to be something lurking down there in the way you're thinking. And that's not true. If you become more faithful, you do that because you want to become more faithful, not because life's going to become easier.
So life has become more faithful. There's the one thing that I'm still holding on to that I need to let go. That's the thing.
Well, you made your decision. There's the one thing I need to let go. Okay.
The last thing.
Then let it go. I know that doesn't sound like real psychologically savvy advice. I need to let this go. Okay, let it go. Well, I'm not sure I want to. Well, I can't make you want to.
I'm just filled with fear because it's been a crutch.
Well, you don't need that crutch anymore. You've got the Lord in your life. You don't need that crutch. No matter what happens, you're aiming toward Him. No matter what happens, you're aiming toward Him. Blessed Easter to you, my girl. You take good care. All right, let me take one of these texts real quick. She asked me about this sound bath. It's kind of one of these things where you get into this, I don't know, some kind of bathtub, and it has all these sounds and warm water and everything, and it's supposed to be relaxing. Well, I don't see any problem with it as long as they don't try to push some philosophy on you. If you just go there and say, okay, well, this is a nice experience, kind of like a massage or whatever it is, it's supposed to relax me. But I would say this, don't count on that to make you be a more relaxed person. That's short-lived. To be a more relaxed person, you gotta look at the way you're looking at yourself, you're looking at life, you're looking at your faith. That's durable. A sound bath, yeah, okay, it's nice for an hour. And maybe for a day you'll feel like, oh, that was really good. I'm much more relaxed now. But short of that, not going to do all that much. So, Melissa, I hope you can hear this. What else here? Rick was on the phone and he left. His daughter's cohabitating. Should he visit her? Should he stay? Should he say no since she's doing this? Personally, parents decide very differently on all this stuff. I think you got a lot of flexibility here. You got to keep the relationship up. She knows you don't approve. She knows how you raised her. She knows what you believe. So when you go there, you're not telling her, okay, I've changed my mind. This is all good. I'm glad you're living with your boyfriend. And you're not saying that. You're saying, you're my daughter. I love you. I want to have a relationship with you. And I'm hoping that the future will change things. And you too. That's what you're saying, Rick. Parents have all kinds of adult children now living with their boyfriend, girlfriends. And if you cut off the relationship, you really have no chance. I'll take it a step further. I say treat her boyfriend nice. Politely, civilly. Let him see that her dad, who's this religious person, is a person that's easy to relate to, easy to get along with. So I think you can only lose by saying, as long as you're living with him, you're not going to see me. Now, some parents will say, well, I'm not going over there, but they can come to my house. Well, that's a parental decision. All right. Congratulations. EW10 radio partners, Divine Mercy Radio, Melbourne, Florida, 18 years. My Father's House in Oskaloosa, that's pretty cool, Iowa, and Wilmington Catholic Radio in Wilmington, North Carolina. Both of those are marking 11 years on the network. Congratulations to Bob Grobby in Florida, Greg Pfeiffer in Iowa, and Bill Hamilton in North Carolina. Congratulations for all of us here, EW10, a durable lifespan there. Dr. Ray Guarendi here, Program Doctors In, broadcasting from the EWTN studios. Christopher from Toronto, Canada, called at the very top of the hour and has been incredibly patient. Hi, Christopher.
Hello, how are you doing, Dr. Ray?
Thanks for the call, sir.
Excellent. So I've got a situation I'm looking for, I guess, your guidance or support is my wife and I are 21 and a half or 3/4 of the year married, and we're currently going through a bit of a trial separation and some distance and some challenging periods in our marriage. And we are looking at formalizing and separating our assets. And, you know, I'm at this stage right now where I still very much am respecting and feel honored to my vows, better or worse. This is definitely worse. And I'm really just doing a lot of discerning on if I feel what I'm presented maybe isn't fair, or if I need to put things in place to protect me, that balance of pushing back and just kind of trying to understand how I keep, you know, I guess God at the center of all this. And then in the perspective of loving and honoring my wife, like Jesus loves the church, how do I apply that through this process without being a martyr or being walked over? It's something I'm really struggling with.
Is she the one who wants the divorce?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Is she the one who wants the divorce?
Yes, and I don't even know if she wants to go that far, but she definitely wants more independence and more control over her assets. And yeah, it's definitely leading the charge on that front.
I think that would be a factor. If she's saying, I want out of here, if you think this is just a temporary step towards the final breakup, civilly, of the marriage, then at that point, you're probably forced to look out for a fair settlement. If, in fact, you believe she's saying, all right, I want to try to get my life together, I want to try to stabilize my approach to you and to the marriage, and you say, okay, I'm going to make it as easy for you to do that as I can. I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, you're going to have to work a job where you can barely pay the bills. No, I'll help you do that if I have some sense that this is really a conciliatory move on your part. You don't want to go to divorce, so you're going to try to change some things, and I can help you do that then. I mean, if you think that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's, I think that's where my headspace was at in the beginning, but I think if I'm honest, a lot of the changes, you know, is expected out of myself to make adjustments. And if I'm being realistic, you know, I think we're further apart than closer right now. So,
well, you also have to decide, okay, what is it about her adjustments that she wants for you that you're at least reluctant or even unwilling to make? Or you think they're unfair? You think they're unreasonable? You think you can't do them? You know, if you're saying to yourself, okay, she wants me to do this, my preference would not be to do that. However, if I want to somehow save this marriage, then I'm going to have to go her way more than I would want to.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And it probably goes well beyond material. It probably goes into conduct.
Yeah, it's you know, we've had our obstacles, of course, like any couple. And you know, not to get too into, you know, there's certain requests that I've attempted to address that, you know, just haven't quite got there as of yet. But no, I appreciate your thoughts on the matter.
Maybe you could go to her, Christopher, and say, can you explain to me the reason, the meaning of the separation? Is it to sort through things and see if I'm willing to re-court you and try to do things differently to save our marriage? Or is it just a step out the door and divorce is going to come no matter what? I think you really kind of got to know
Yeah.
where she's at with that.
Yeah, no, I think you that's a great statement there to follow up and get some reassurance from my standpoint. So
yeah,
thank you.
Then if that's the case, if you think she's really looking to some possible reconciliation, then you can say, well, I want to make it as easy as I can for you to do that. I don't want you to have to struggle during this period of separation.
Yeah, no, she won't be struggling one way or the other. She'll be all right. So,
all right.
But I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Christopher. Good luck, sir.
Sure.
Oh, boy. Yikes-o-matic, huh? All right. This is an interesting question here. This came in on a text. I'm a Catholic revert. I returned to the faith over a year ago. I married 19 years ago in the Lutheran Church because my wife was married previously in the Catholic Church. Okay, so wife did not get an annulment. He was married in the Lutheran Church. Wife went into the Lutheran Church because they would marry her. Since my reversion, I would like to be married in the Catholic Church, but my wife is not on board. She's wishy-washy about getting an annulment. Well, that would be the first step or in movement toward getting married in a church. And part of me feels trapped. I find myself becoming resentful. I accept full responsibility for my decisions of the past and accept responsibility for the predicament that I'm in. My question, what would be a way for me to deal with this resentment and find peace with the position that I'm in? I think to find peace with the position you're in, you got to accept it, at least at this point. You reverted about a year ago, okay? Relatively fresh. So in your reversion, if your wife sees that you are easier to live with because of this, kinder, more charitable, more serving, more loving, more affectionate, if she sees that your coming back to the Catholic Church is to her benefit, then that's your best chance to soften her. She probably has a lot of ideas about what it would mean if she would pursue an annulment. She doesn't want to say, well, no, I think my marriage was fine or my kids are not going to be illegitimate, whatever mistaken notion she has about that. You could try to dispel. You said she's wishy-washy about getting an annulment. Okay, well then she's not refusing, so she's got mixed feelings, mixed motives. That gives you the opening to be a really good husband about this. You might talk to a priest about living chaste as brother and sister within your marriage, because if you're a Catholic and you got married outside the church, then your marriage might not be recognized. You need to kind of sort through what all this means. Go to a priest, describe to him your situation, and see how this all sorts out in terms of the validity of your marriage. Number to get onto the program here as I broadcast from the EWTN studios in Irondale, 877-573-7825. Still have a relatively plentiful amount of time to get onto the program. Now, this gentleman texted me last week, and again, didn't get to his question last week, so I'll try it this week, although there's too many unknowns to give maybe a helpful answer. How does having a grandfather who was a practicing Mason affect your children or his only child who has had severe mental health issues her entire life? Now, I'm going to assume when you say practicing Mason, he was heavily anti-Catholic, hostile to the Catholic Church. I don't know, you say affect your children. He's your grandfather, So he's a couple generations removed, 3 from your children. So that would be a pretty good stretch to say that the way he ran his life and what he believed had some kind of impact on your children 2-3 generations later, unless he very actively was involved in their lives and tried to influence them. The fact that he's just a practicing Mason, this is kind of like the old, therefore, if the previous generation or 2 had some kind of significant sinful conduct, is it going to trickle down to following generations? Not necessarily. But then you asked, does it affect his only child who has had severe mental health issues her entire life? Well, I'd have to know what you mean by mental health issues. When you say severe, I am assuming you're talking psychotic or significant neurochemical involvement. Okay, bipolar depression, anxiety. Well, again, that's not really psychotic necessarily. Anxiety, very narcissistic. I guess you're having an individual who is struggling in life, okay? So if you say, well, does his being a Mason have affected her? Probably to the degree that whatever he believed as a Mason affected his parenting. What is it about his being a Mason that trickled down to the way he parented? That's one thing. Or, again, I don't know his child, so I don't know how vulnerable she is to these issues with or without her dad's parenting. He could have been a great parent and she was just prone to these kinds of mental struggles. Or he was problematic, if you will, in his parenting. What you have learned about Masonry is bad. Yes, it is. I mean, the Masons, especially in their earlier history, they were very intense. They were an enemy of the Catholic Church. They wanted to uproot, ruin, and destroy the Catholic Church. That's absolutely correct. I don't know his particular perspective on all this, and I don't know how much of that has infected his life. I can't know. It's not possible to know. So you're right. A hard practicing Mason in all likelihood is very anti-Catholic. And indeed, that's been a problem over the centuries. But in terms of how it affects his own life and his own kids, well, you'd have to know an awful lot about that. Okay, 877-573-7825, 877-57 That is the number to call. You are welcome, sir. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your tenacity in trying to get through. All right. Any else I've got to? Eric, did you scroll down for me? I'm trying to figure out how to scroll on this thing. I don't know how to go down. Did you put the live reading on there? I don't know how to do that. Okay, because I don't know how to scroll down. It's got one of those arrows, you know. All right. 877-573-7825. 877-57 is the number to call. Let's take a break so I don't have to interrupt anyone because it's getting close to break time anyway. I'm Dr. Ray. This is The Doctor Is In. I appreciate your company.
You're listening to The Doctor. Come in, pull up a couch, let's talk. The Doctor Is In.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically owned shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Sin. How do we define it? The Catechism of the Catholic Church defines sin in detail, calling it an offense against reason, truth, and right conscience. a failure in genuine love for God and neighbor caused by a perverse attachment to certain goods. St. Augustine defines sin as an utterance, a deed, or a desire contrary to the eternal law. Sin is an offense against God, as King David lamented in Psalm 51. Against you and you alone have I sinned, and done what is evil in your sight. Sin is evidence of love of self, even to contempt of God. The Catechism points out that sin in its most violent forms was visible against Christ during his passion, when ironically at that darkest hour, the light of his great sacrifice poured forth the grace that would bring about the forgiveness of sin. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
You're listening to Ave Maria Radio.
Ave Maria Radio.
Ave Maria in the Afternoon is underwritten by the following nonprofit organization: Real Estate for Life. Buying or selling your home or business property? Real Estate for Life can connect you with one of 1,400 pro-life real estate agents around the world. When Real Estate for Life receives a referral fee, they donate 70% to Ave Maria Radio and Human Life International. More information at realestateforlife.org or 877-LIFE-US1. That's realestateforlife.org.
Maria got caught into a situation that just after the fact shook her up. She has 3 children. Each of them do very well in school. They also got a Masonic award in school. Maria said, I had no idea what the Masonic temple beliefs were. She said, I'm afraid now that the ceremony at the lodge was negative, risky, bad. Is there something she should do? Hi, Maria.
Hi. You nailed it on the head there.
Well, you can check to see locally what your Masonics believe and practice. There has been some watering down of the Masons, and in many respects, some of the folks that are in there are just kind of a lodge, and they want to do civil types of activities to help the community. So that's that. If they've already gotten the award, you can do with the award what you want. I mean, you can just simply say, well, we're not something we're going to keep, or you can just simply say this just represents their scholastic abilities, and I'm not going to put any more meaning in it than that. You can do that. But I think for you to be afraid of, oh no, we took that award and now something really, really awful, terrible is going to happen. I don't think you have to worry about that.
Not so much that, but it's like I know we've made pledges of some sort. We read this pledge together, and it was all based around, like you said, serving the community and doing all these good things, and we make this pledge to the lodge and what they stand for. This was, again, 10, 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly. I just remember being, wholehearted, proud of my child, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been weighing on my heart a little, and the last caller about the Masons triggered it again, so I just wanted to ask.
Well, it's pretty far back. That's one thing. They're grown up now. They're adults. All right, so you got yourself in something that could have been questionable. Where's David? Is he here? Have he come in yet?
He'll get here.
I got to talk to David. I got a question for David here. This is interesting. Get him in here, Tom. Here's the situation with Maria. 3 kids. Now, this happened about 10, 15 years ago. 3 kids. Great in school. Each of them got a Masonic award. They got a Masonic award. All right. At the time, she had no idea what the Masons were. She just thought they were community service. They did these kinds of things. They had to read the pledge. The pledge was, I'm going to serve my community. There was no indication of any kind of perspective toward the Catholic Church. Now she's shook. All right? So.
What does the church call it? Invincible ignorance.
Yeah, very good. See, I knew my boss would know this. First of all, you didn't know. Okay, so you can't be held culpable. That's a word that David Andrews would use. I would just say you can't be blamed, but he'd say culpable. All right. So given that there's no sin involved here for sure. If it weighs on you that much, here's what you do. You call your local Masonic temple and you say, what is the approach of the temple toward the Catholic Church? How do you view the Catholic Church? I know the history of the Masons has been heavily hostile to the Catholic Church. Okay. What about that now? What are you going to do about that now? So at that point, you can just say, okay, kids, if you want to keep the award, you keep it because it's an academic excellent award. If not, dump it.
All right. Will do.
And when David comes in here, I'm going to ask him. But he's avoiding this because he doesn't want the tough questions. That's exactly right. He can hide behind you with these questions. So I get a tough question. I know him. He's lurking out there and outside that door. I can see his nose pressed against that plexiglass. He won't come in. He's waiting until the show's done. Maria, thank you, honey. You keep listening because I'm gonna pigeonhole him. Okay?
I love it. My fellow Italian. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, honey. Thanks. You're welcome. Now, see, I got 3 minutes left.
I think you mean buttonhole him, not pigeon.
Buttonhole. I'm going to get his butt in here. It's my 3 minutes left. Where is he?
He always does this. He'll slide in.
Oh. Well, Julia has a question here, but it seems rather broad. And if I take the question, it's going to be so broad. Julia, could you do me this favor, dear? Because of the exigencies. Oh, another big word. Because of the exigencies of our situation. And me being reluctant to use shibboleths. Ha-ha! Woo! That's right. Therefore, I'm going to try to catch David Andrews if he comes in. If not, Tom, can you grab it? I mean, you heard the question. You're pretty knowledgeable in this stuff.
Which question?
Jiminy Christmas, you forgot the question already.
She hasn't said it yet.
She did. Maria said that she was nervous. 10, 15 years ago, her kids got a Masonic award.
Oh, well, yeah. I already answered that.
All right, invincible ignorance?
Right.
I don't like the way you looked at me when you said invincibly ignorant. You looked right at me.
It seemed to fit.
All right, I'm going to go to Julia here because I'm not going to see David. He's lurking out there somewhere. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Dr. Ray. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, honey. Thanks for the call. I don't know how much I can give you in the next couple minutes.
Well, my question is, how do you have a conversation with young adults, 18, 20-year-old sons, about relationships they're having with their girlfriend in regards to they don't seem to be on the same page. One seems to be more in than the other, and I don't know the proper way to address that with our sons.
When you say one seems to be more in than the other, what do you mean?
I think very excited just to be in a relationship and not knowing exactly what to look for in a relationship.
Ask a lot of questions, Julia. Ask a lot of questions. What do you like about her? What is it? How does she treat you? Well, where is she with the faith? Does she like the fact that you're a religious guy? What does she want out of the relationship? When you are wanting to be with her, does it seem like she wants to be with you? You're not going to throw up question marks about her specifically. What you're going to say is, are you assessing this, son? Are you looking at this in a broader perspective?
Okay.
That's what I would do. Okay. Now, he's probably just starry-eyed right now. You know, bottom line is she can't do anything wrong. But,
right.
But your view is just going to be, okay, let's look at the bigger picture here.
And those, since you have experience with adopted children, this one girlfriend is adopted. Do you see that there would be some children that wouldn't have any wounds from that experience?
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on the adoption wound. I hate that. This idea that these kids are indelibly damaged simply because they were adopted into a loving family. It's like the old, oh no, I was neglected. I was not wanted. I've got an adoption wound that's going to follow me for life. I hate that.
Okay.
I got about several of my kids that would say that is just a bunch of crap. So no, that's not what would bother me. What would bother me is what kind of kid is she like? Okay. You know, you don't know much about her, but there's a possibility that maybe if she was an at-risk adoption, or she was adopted later, or she went through a number of homes, that she could have some immaturities in her character. That's what would be your concern.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right, sweetheart.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, if I could put you on speaker, I would want you just to insult David Anders, okay? But he was responsible for me getting to talk to you, so really I think he was kind to you. Thanks, dear. I'll talk to you.
Have a pleasant week. Thank
Bye.
you.
That's it. That is the last time when Anders refers... David, get in here. Get in here. I had a question, and I wanted your input, and you just lurked out there. No. I'm going to get shut down here in 20 seconds. All right, here we go. Quickly. Yeah, what's the question?
Masonic gave the kids 10, 15 years ago an award. Now Mother shook because she didn't know what the Masonic was.
Masonic gave the kids?
They gave the excellent academic award. They just gave an academic award.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was shook because
meaning like the Masonic Lodge?
Yeah.
So what is the Masonic Lodge?
Yeah. Well, no, we know what it is, but she's nervous because she didn't know what it was. Now she knows what it is, and she's thinking, oh, no, they're anti-Catholic.
Well, they are.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's it. He's one answer. What kind of answer is that?
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.